Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bob's Bookshelf. I'm your host, Bob. Today, fantastic book designed by Jennifer Morla in 1995 called This is a Pair of Levis Jeans. Just amazing, exuberant typography and beautiful attention to material details. Just a terrific, terrific book. And I thought because the first episode was about the corporate history of General Dynamics, that since I'm coming to the end of this round of videos, that looking at another corporate history, in this case, Levi's, would be interesting as a way to sort of bookend all this stuff. Okay, so let's pin the image and begin. All right, here we go. So really beautiful cover, a detail of some old imagery from Levi's. I think this is the little patch that goes on the back of the jeans. The cover looks like it's printed, laminated onto chipboard. I don't know if that's going to focus or not. The binding is what's called quarter bound, even though this doesn't go a quarter of the way in. It's this is cloth that wraps the cover onto the spine and then onto the back. Lovely foil stamping on the spine and beautiful little detail here. The 501 red dot acting as a publisher's mark. And then even more amazing is the Levi's tab is tucked in here, and it is it's physically present. It's not printed. So before we're even inside the book already, it's just a really amazing set of design decisions. Okay, end papers, really nice. Blue on this side, red on this side, and then it mimics the same thing in the back. Cowhide pattern. So already we see the palette of typefaces being introduced. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4 different typefaces already. And then the table of contents here, really exquisite and delightful. Wood grain pattern, and then each chapter has a different kind of typographic voice built into it. Super fun and super cool. So we get into it, and this is a section divider. Even the folios are treated similarly with this little red tab device that calls back to the Levi's identity system. Okay, so this is how the sections open, the large image, and a beautiful cascading waterfall of typography with the intro text. And then it goes on from there. So already we see how eclectically Jennifer Morla is assembling all of this material. So it's a very different feel from the General Dynamics book, which also was using archival imagery. Yeah, really interesting and fascinating. Then throughout, there's a whole series of these gatefolds that are usually indicated with this kind of stitching edge pattern. And all kinds of things are revealed when these are opened. Here, it's some archival imagery, and in other places, it's other kinds of material. Okay. So here we are again. So really fun, a ghosted back image on a light cream background with some nice type changes going through. Just calls attention to the different historical periods that Levi's was a part of. Here are, here's a letter from the archive. One especially interesting thing about how Jennifer treats the imagery is that things are very seldom treated in a straightforward way. The images are always, something is done with them, with the color, And I think this is a genius move, really, because if all you have are black and white images, you need some way to introduce other kinds of color into it. Otherwise, you have a monochromatic book. Okay. And then that way, when color images finally do arrive, they really pop in an interesting way, like they are here. Okay. So let's jump ahead a little ways. Here's another example of the way that the designers treat the typography, not being afraid of using it really big and expressively. And then we turn the page and we get another completely different typographic voice, and then we're on into the next section. So that's the way the book is structured all the way through. What I'm going to do now is just go through and pick out a few of my favorite visual highlights as we go through the book. This is really lovely, looking at the different kinds of ways that the buttons were treated over time. And then again, using color to transform an image from its regular black and white manifestation. Okay, let's jump ahead here. So looking at different ways that the little pocket patch was treated over time. And then we open up the gatefold, and then these different kinds of images are revealed. So really, really fun and fascinating. Let's jump ahead again. So this is an interesting little detail about the tab, and then a story about how in 1967, the Batwing logo, as they call it, was designed. This is the one we probably know best. So that's pretty fascinating and interesting stuff. Further, this grid in switching the pause and neg, these other clothing lines associated with Levi's. Really interesting and fun there as well. Moving on here. This is just delightful. These are details of pockets and the pocket snaps, and you open it up and you just get a giant sea of these things with this beautifully placed text block. Just really delightful, playful, and beautiful. So many great things going on visually in this book. And then switching the mood completely to something from the 60s, metallic ink with giant typewriter type. Really, really fun and interesting. There's another section opener using archival material in a different sort of way. And then this is just really lovely. Just a simple type size change in the type, and then going from black to metallic gold as a way to pop out these few words as you go down the page. Also very fun, this series of stripes as a way to get this text onto a large image. Beautiful. And then this juxtaposition is quite interesting and fun because it plays off Levi's traditional Western image with something that is looking to be more future oriented. And then you open it up, and then there's another letter, and then a photograph from an ad campaign from the early 70s. So it's interesting how Levi's is continuously juxtaposing the past and the present in their marketing materials. Okay, let's jump forward again. And here's another section opener. More images treated in different kinds of ways with another letter. So really interesting and lovely. Using art as a way to sell jeans. Okay, and then we reach we reach the end, and here, back here, there's a different color of paper used. The giant 501 dot. And then this glossary of terms, which is really designed in a beautiful and terrific way. So it's just two colors, black and red. And each one of these is set in a different way. So it gives the spread a really lively and interesting feel. All the text is set the same way. It's just the heads, and then from time to time, these other little graphic devices break it up. And again, the stitch rule tying back into the way jeans are stitched all the way through. This continues on this page. And then for the index, referencing the 501 dot, all the letters for the index are in circles. So even something as potentially mundane as the index is also treated in a graphically consistent manner. So all the way through, beginning to end, just one visual delight, one inventive way of solving a visual problem after another. So I thought that it would be interesting to look at two other books designed by Jennifer Morla. And we'll start with this one. This is a monograph of her work called Morla Design. This is from, I think it's from 2019. And this book is also exquisite in its use of materials and its sensitivity to materials as well. So we have, it's a square book with this debossed pattern on the top. Let's see, there is, the book block is dyed with Day-Glo orange. Day-Glo end papers. And then we get into the book itself, where there's like bright, intense, saturated images all the way through. And I thought it would be just interesting to jump right to where Jennifer talks about the project that we just looked at. So this is how she's showing this in her monograph. So it's, and then reader's ribbons and a vellum page with white type silk screened on it. And then she shows some of her favorite spreads. So this book is really quite remarkable in all of the various kinds of work shown all the way through. This book was published by the Letterform Archive. Definitely worth having if you are a design fan. No reason not to have this book. Oh, this is one of my favorite things. And somewhere I still have a pack of these matches. This restaurant was a favorite of mine. And in fact, let me see if I can find it. The clock is ticking. All right, I still have it. So Ristorante Echo, beautiful little matchbox, exquisitely done, and for a lovely restaurant. Okay, so Day-Glo, bright colors, metallics, exquisite typography, powerful imagery all the way through. Just a really remarkable body of work. And the monograph is also a remarkable object in and of itself. The other project I highlighted from here is almost the inverse of these two books that I've shown already. This is the catalog for the Cap Street project. And I have that book as well right here. Here it is, the actual thing. And what I love about this book is that it demonstrates how even with an extraordinarily limited palette, Jennifer is able to still make an exquisite and powerful design statement. So first we'll see how she shows the book in her book, and then I'll take you through this somewhat. So big over the top typography. So same kinds of ideas, but manifested in a different sort of way for a different purpose. Okay. So yeah, Morla Design, published by Letterform Archive. There are still copies, if I understand correctly. Okay, so here is the Cap Street Project, 1993 catalog. So this is chipboard on the cover. The book block is chopped flush with the cover, debossed with a tape binding holding it together. What's nice about this is it's printed only in black ink on newsprint paper, fairly heavyweight, but still. So it's an extremely minimalist sensibility. So whereas the other two books we saw are sort of maximalist, this is more minimal, yet it's still extremely expressive, with every detail considered carefully, and where nothing really repeats as we go through, right? So the type is always moving around. The textures are always changing. So it remains engaging all the way through, even though the materials are quite limited, right? All we have is black ink on newsprint paper. And when you have a strong idea and a strong typographic sense, you don't need much more than black ink on interesting paper and some beautiful binding. Just incredible. Yeah. I like to show this book to my students because it's easy to think that what makes a book interesting and beautiful are fancy materials. And of course, we don't always have access to fancy materials, but we always have access to good design. And even if all you have is black ink on white paper or newsprint paper, you can still make something amazing and beautiful. So with that, let's go back. Okay. So 3 fantastic books from Jennifer Morla. This is A Pair of Levis Jeans, Jennifer's remarkable monograph from the Letterform Archive, and then the Cap Street Project catalog from 1993. All gems, all have remarkable design lessons within them, and are the work of a fantastic and remarkable designer. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Next week, the last episode of the semester. All right. Thanks a million, and we'll see you next time. Bye.